Former President Trump is back in court as closing arguments are underway in the civil fraud trial that could dismantle his business empire. Trump's attorney claims the case was manufactured to pursue a political agenda and blames Trump's deputies and accountants for the financial discrepancies. The judge has already ruled the former president inflated his net worth to secure key business dealings. Senior reporter Catherine Faulders joins me now from outside court in New York, along with ABC News executive editorial producer John Santucci and ABC News legal contributor Kim Whaley for more. Catherine, you've been inside the courtroom for these arguments. What's the latest?
Well, we're just learning that Trump's defense attorney here, Chris Kise, who's been arguing this, just wrapped up his closing statements. As you mentioned there in that opening, he argued that this is manufactured to pursue a political agenda, this investigation, and praised Trump for shaping the skyline.
That courtroom, let's listen.
The banks were in perfect condition. The bankers were extremely happy with these loans. They made a lot of money with the loans. There were no defaults. There were no problems. This is just an attorney general that hates Donald Trump and wanted to run for governor, wanted to run for attorney general. And it's a shame. I think she should be criminally liable for this. She did this to Exxon, and they drove Exxon out of New York. Exxon paid billions of dollars in taxes. They're now living in Texas. Exxon is very happy in Texas. Other companies, because of what's happening here, are going to be moving out of New York also. This is an out-of-control attorney general. She's totally out of control. These loans were all good. The banks were extremely happy with me. They still are. We built a great company. We have a company that's very liquid, very strong, great assets. And she sued me because she wanted the publicity to run for office. Well, they find nothing wrong. And I think if anybody was being fair about it, and I'm not sure you can even hear me because they don't allow microphones over here, which is a little ridiculous. But if anybody's fair about it, you see, this is a case that should have never been brought, and I think we should be entitled to damages. Thank you. I'll be back.
Mr. Trump, what's your reaction to your name being removed from the Trump list?
It's former President Trump leaving a New York City courtroom after closing arguments in the civil fraud trial against him, his older sons, and his business. I want to go back outside to Catherine Faulders, who's outside the court right now, was inside the courtroom for those closing arguments. Catherine, we heard, again, former President Trump calling this a political persecution. What did you make of the arguments you heard in court today?
Right, well, that was much of what his attorney, Chris Kise, also said, despite slamming some of the witnesses, saying that none of them testified specifically to fraud in this case. It was a lot of that narrative, that this was all political, that this is a political investigation by the attorney general here. Kise said, essentially praised Trump's success in the real estate industry, despite the evidence here, and then also focused a good deal on blaming Trump's deputies at the Trump Organization and his accountants. Diane.
Kim, Trump's attorney hammered the AG's request for a $370 million fine, saying you can't just make up a number in the sky. So what is that number based on?
It's based on expert testimony about the actual values of his properties, which the court found were inflated or deflated exponentially by many multiples. So this kind of valuation of property, I guess some would say it's an art, but there's definitely a science to it as well. Anytime you sign a lease for an apartment or you purchase a house, there is a way of determining if you're under and overpaying. And the allegations here, based on the factual record, is that he massively overvalued or undervalued his properties for many, many years to the tune of upwards of $400 million.
John, the New York Attorney General is also asking to ban Trump from the state's real estate industry for life.
Yeah.
What would that mean for him, his family, and the business?
It means going out of business, pretty much. It means that Donald Trump would have to first sell all the assets in New York. So this is actually pretty easy. Let's do a visual exercise if we can. Building on Fifth Avenue, gone. Hotel Columbus Circle, gone. 40 Wall Street, where he says he's about to go to speak, gone. Bank of America building, gone. It's all going to have to go if that happens. So Trump's out, the locations are out, the employees are also out of a job. Now, all of that has caused a massive panic within the Trump organization because of the fact that what do? We'd have to offload basically everything. We're showing that image right now of iconic Fifth Avenue, and that Trump says is the greatest address ever in America. Wouldn't be his anymore if this ruling holds.
Catherine, how have the judge and Trump, how are they reacting as his attorney made these arguments?
Well, look, it certainly hasn't been as contentious as it has in previous times that Trump has been inside this courtroom, asking some questions here and there. But Kise largely just delivered his closing statements without too much, whether it's pushback, too many questions from the judge. For example, it was interesting because before coming into the courthouse, Trump, of course, said that he wanted to deliver parts of his closing statements. Of course, the judge said that that can't happen unless he agreed to a certain set of conditions. He didn't, but Trump said coming in that he still wanted to speak. That wasn't addressed at any point inside the courtroom. That didn't become a topic. There was no contention around that. So, of course, now they're in break. And then when they come back, we'll hear from the Attorney General's team.
Kim, what do you make of the defense blaming Trump's accountants and pointing out that there were no victims here? How strong are those arguments?
Well, the court has already rejected a number of these sort of tired arguments that keep coming up, and some of them have given rise even to sanctions for the lawyers. So my guess is they will continue to lose these arguments. The crimes don't require a victim. Financial crimes don't always require a victim because the law is interested in making our financial markets safe and secure from fraud, even if you can't say, well, the banks lost money. The system loses money. That's the argument on that one, just in terms of the elements of the cause of action on which he was already found to be liable.
All right, Kim Whaley, Catherine Falders, John Santucci, thank you all. And we will have much more on these closing arguments throughout the day right here on ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.